Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the probably most realistic games out of the Farm Sim franchise. This is FS13. I am your host, the rental man Buck, and we're going to be doing a little bit of cattle work today. If you guys do like Throwback Thursday content on the channel and you'd absolutely love to see more, be sure to smash that like button, possibly even subscribe down below. Now, I know one thing's for certain, and that is that this New Holland pull type forage harvester is not real for one reason. That you could definitely tell that that's two added on harvester pieces, making it 6 rows. But you know what? I ain't got time and I got crops to get out of the ground. So we're gonna start by getting our pull type ready to go, and we're gonna see if this forage harvester picks up our corn right away. And by the looks of it, I think it is. Now, for any of the Farm Sim veterans out there, one of the greatest things about this game was the more realistic mods that came out. I can't remember at what point, but they were a range of modifications where the physics of the mods were second to none on how they actually played in game time. Once we get to the part where we're going to have to work on the cattle a little bit, I'll show you guys with the Bobcat. It is my favorite of every single mod that ever came out in FS13 because you can physically pop a wheelie with this mod. I jokingly not, you can pop a wheelie and hold it like you're at the county fair. Besides that point though, this is the old family farm. You guys have probably seen this map on a few videos on the channel. One of which was that time I went on FS22 and bought out a 50s inspired farm. Same exact farm, but what's funnier about this map is that I forgot just how small it really was. When we take a look at the little PDA in the bottom left, you keep in mind guys, when we did the haunted camping with Grant however many years ago, this map had been extended since then. The original map only went to where you guys see that tree line sitting right in front of me. That was the map. This is a very, 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 very small map. Take the size of Elm Creek, for example, and then cut that in half by like 4. That's the size of this map. But on the other hand, that's what made this map so much fun, is that you could never run anything bigger than really a 6-row or maybe an 8-row if you're lucky, because the fields just can't handle that big of equipment. The farm's not big enough to really accommodate anything large. I also do note that it is a lot harder to find mods for FS13 anymore. All of the mods that I currently have in use right now are things that I've actually had since I bought the game originally. Now, I don't have my original mod folder, but I have just about as close as you're going to be able to get to what I originally had from back in the day. Most files anymore really just have been taken down. You can't really find anything anymore, and so on and so forth. But we're going to get this little bit of a time-lapse going while we're cutting up some corn for silage. And then once we get that filled, we'll take it over to the bunker and continue on with our day.
You can't turn the tide. Let the water go where it wants to go. Yourself beneath the stones. Somebody told me don't pretend, 'cause everyone could use a friend sometimes. Take some good advice. Don't let your fear decide. That's how you break inside.
With the first wagon filled up, we're gonna head over to the bunker, so that way this can start fermenting. Maybe. I think I might have a vehicle that can pull this. I tried it with my Model A a little earlier, and well, now I believe the Ford might be the only one that can pull it. Gotta say though, this is a pretty heavy trailer. There, however, is the greatest mod that ever ceased to exist in this game. Holy cow, this thing dumps fast. Excuse me. I got it. Let me get out. Hey. Hey. I can't get out. It's nice if people like to put a little bit more realism into their mods nowadays, because that would have taken however long in 22 to unload versus these times when people just said, yeah, it does it. Anyways, let's keep on keeping on. Don't have a whole bunch left of this field, but it also makes a difference when your picker's pulling in 6 rows versus 2 rows. Let me know down in the comments though, guys, what did you originally play Farm Sim on when you first got it? When I got the game, which was FS13, I played it on a very bad laptop that could hardly even remotely, you had to look at and play the game like this. But then I went to PS3 for FS15, worst decision I ever made, because back in the day, console players really got the shaft on it. But then I went back to and have not played any other game except on PC since FS17. The next pass should be our last. I'm not 100% sure, but it kind of looks like we could fit all of them in one shot. Things weren't really made to scale as much as they are nowadays. Ooh, maybe we might get it all. I think we got it. I think we got it. Never mind, we have one little line of shame. Gotta love the good old-fashioned line of shame. With that completed, we'll dump the last of this forage wagon off into the silos. I could jump across the road quick and grab that little square, but I want to see just how much silage this actually turns into once we ferment the chaff. Until that time, though, we got to get this thing flattened out. So I'm going to drive over it with the Ford, and then I'm also going to dump the remainder of this, and we'll grab that Bobcat. Feast your eyes on the man, the myth, the legend S160 more realistic Bobcat. You didn't even have to have a mod for this thing. You could just detach these things standing outside of it. I mean, that's... More realistic mods have a very special place in my heart for the amount of detail that you could get on some of these things back in the day. It's a shame that they never made it to FS15, but there was a completely different engine, and it's like trying to put square shoes through a triangular box. I don't really know how to put that. But basically, it just, you can't modernize something that wasn't built to go into another system. Here's the thing though, if you guys remember how skid steers work at Farm Sim, it's very obvious to note that skid steers in Farm Sim kind of suck. Well, here's the deal. More realistic mods, they worked a little bit more like an actual skid steer. If you were to just stand still and then crank it, you can get this thing to do a 0 turn, like an actual skid steer would do. The other thing to note is that the skid steer itself should be able to be very imbalanced if you put the booms all the way up, like so. Once again, in Farm Sim, you can't get it to do anything, but in this one, I'm sorry, I'm like a child, but yeah, you can make this thing pop a wheelie. If you take the bucket off, you can just back up and throw it in forward, and it will literally pop a wheelie. It is the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's already 45% compacted, though, so I'm just going to keep on driving until this thing is completely ready to go, and then we will get this thing to silage, and then it is over to transporting to the cattle feed yard. I did already cut some of my yard with the Amazon Profi Hopper, which if you guys have seen that in the mod hub, in FS13 the game came base game with a lawnmower. Base game, mind you. Farm Sim hasn't come out with a base game lawnmower since FS13. Why they went away from that, it is beyond me, but hey, I'm not Giants. And that is a completely compacted silo. Yay! Let's get that covered up and let it ferment. Whoa, that was cool. I know I still don't have any of my screenshots from back in the day, but this is what I mean. This is my favorite thing to do back when I first got home from school. I'd get back on and I'd use the S160 and I'd just do county fair wheelies. It was awesome. On a secondary note though, why is that rooster like really cool? Oh, he's moving. He's on a mission. I think that's what I look like at 2:30 in the morning when I'm going to the fridge to find a snack. Moving over to the cattle, though, we could take a peek. The engines in the games used to just be so simple back in the day. You could go to the animals tab, and whatever animals that the map allowed you to have or the game allowed you to have, you could physically just go in and, like the chickens, I just want to buy a couple chickens. So I can just buy them. And then they show up and walk around the farm. I pick up the eggs and I can just, you know, go sell them. But we got 20 head of cattle that are sitting inside of our pen. I did drop some grass from the lawnmower, like I stated earlier. I also did get water in the trough so that they can start drinking. I just destroyed that chicken. But until that silo ferments, we're kind of in a rock and a hard place. This brings me to my second favorite Easter egg that you guys could find in Farm Sim 2013. Why this also has not been incorporated in any other games is beyond me. Scattered around the map, you guys might see these in 22 on older maps, but they used to have these golf carts. You couldn't sell them, you couldn't buy them, but they were scattered around the map. And on Hagenstedt, you were able to just get in these things and drive them around. So if you ran out of fuel, no worries. You can just go back to the farm and get your fuel trailer because you can just drive the golf cart. Now, you still did have to put fuel in these things, but it was so cool to just be able to drive around a golf cart at whatever way you want to, and it was not a mod. This was a base game vehicle. You just couldn't buy it, you couldn't sell it, and the map had to have them just placed around the map for you to drive. It never did have a horn, though, so that was one downside. I'll let that silo ferment, though, and we'll get right on to feeding cattle.
6.5 hours later.
Welcome back, guys. It is currently a 4:45. If you guys don't know military time, I highly recommend you guys start learning that. I finally made the switch a couple weeks ago to just getting my mind used to seeing those times. I still have troubles reading it, but the 24-hour clock has definitely been something that I feel is a very important thing to work on. Why are you not able to pick up that? That makes no sense. Hello? Can I... What? You're gonna sit there and tell me that I have to go and buy a separate bucket to pick up silage. Oh, come on. Alright. I'm off to do a mission, the wonderful mission of Oz. Now, luckily, it doesn't have it on this map, but back in the day, what modern-day contracts are were called missions. And in 13, they would just radio you every, like, 10 minutes. You could set the frequency of it. But they used to give you a frequent mission that you could just go and do for money. The problem was that it would get pretty annoying if you never just... I usually just always turned it off, but it'd just be like, beep, beep, and it'd just give you a message, and every single time, you'd be right in the middle of something, and then just, here, you want to do something? Not really. This map, though, was really fun. Even though I'm only able to go 10 miles an hour, it's literally like a 4-second drive to the store. It's so awesome. As much as I would love to tell the next person that they should invest in this game and play it for old time's sake, it's just getting really hard on the PC spectrum to kind of find the mods that are not been deleted. A lot of these files are well over 10 years old now, and some people just like to, you know, clean out their stuff every now and then. But let me know down below, guys, if you guys do have any of the old previous farm sims. Did you, when getting the new game, delete your old folders and get rid of all of your mods? Or do you still have your original mod folders to this day? I'm one of those people because when I started getting into the modding spectrum, it's a lot easier to go pull parts from previous models than it is to try and either A, find them, or B, make them. There we go. Now we got ourselves a full bucket of silage. You watch, these animals don't even take this as food. Oh, I'm going to be mad if they don't. I do believe they do have a tip point, though, that's not just the feed trough. Oh, no, they do take it. Mint. This is just probably going to take a while because, you know, I only can haul 1,200 at a time. I guess enjoy, sit back, relax, and watch me struggle while trying to feed the cows.
A few moments later.
Ah. I figured, I'm like, I don't think that they're actually picking up the silage that I'm dumping into that feed trough, which is sad because I thought I was actually doing it well, but apparently not. I do have one theory, though, and that is to dump it in one of these 2 silos. I don't think it will work, but there's a possibility that it might. Can I dump silage here? Can I dump it and actually feed them? No, I cannot. At least not from that one. What about you? Nope, that does not work either. I love it when things just don't work. It's fantastic. I think what actually needs to happen is I would need to allow the grass to be unfed. They can only be fed with one material at a time. Can't confirm or deny this, but that's what the looks of this situation are. If that's the case, then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys into town, and I kind of want to showcase to you what some of the old buildings and the game mechanics look like, and that probably should wrap out our day because I can't really do anything else to take care of the cows at all. They don't want my help. I mean, we could go get water, but that's besides the point. If you guys remember the FS15 video, though, this is the exact same truck that we are using. This is where the truck originally came out on, I believe was FS13. Not sure if it was an FS11 mod, but either way, with heading into town, it is super easy because you can get everywhere super quick. Here is what the place looked like. There's the bank. You just walk up to it. This is the only way you could really get your loan. If you were to repay anything, you do everything here. I maxed out my money because, well, I was dumb. You'd sell the eggs at the market, and what is this back here? I believe it's the railroad or the pigs. Is this the dealer? Selling point for pigs. That's where you could sell the pigs. So apparently they were sectioned out. You couldn't sell them, all the animals, at one place. That's kind of cool. Then they just had this little looped around drive-through that you'd have to go through. Hello! And then there's a train. Oh, that's right. They had that really bad 2D train that was coming out of the tunnel. Look at this thing. This is some quality. This has to be the best train model I've ever seen in my entire life. What even is that? This is the Dollar General version of Diesel from Thomas and Friends. But I think that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. This is the second of 3 farms on this map. If you guys would like to see more throwback content, obviously let me know down below. But that is going to do it for us all. Be sure to check out the Boomstick Club for all the up-to-date content for me and the gang. You guys already know who is in it. I shall see you all in the next one. This is the Rental Man out.